I'm famished.
So am I.
Everyone's hungry. We need food.
Aren't you hungry?
What's the matter with you? You look positively ill.
He looks as though he's going to faint any second.
Oh my goodness, the poor thing. I do believe he thinks it's him we're wanting to eat.
Oh.
You mustn't be frightened. We wouldn't dream of hurting you. You're one of us now. Didn't you know that? You're one of the crew. We're all in the same boat.
We've been waiting for you for quite some time. We thought you'd never show up. I'm glad you made it.
So cheer up, my boy, cheer up. And meanwhile, I think we should give me a hand with these boots. It takes me hours to get them all off by myself. Oh, thank you so much. You're very kind.
Well, you have a lot of boots.
Well, I have a lot of legs and a lot of feet. 100 to be exact. I am a centipede.
Oh, there he goes again. He simply cannot stop telling lies about those legs of his. He's only got 42 of them now. The problem is most people don't bother to count them. And anyways, there's nothing marvelous, centipede, about having a lot of legs.
Poor earthworm. He's blind, you know. He can't see how truly splendid I look.
In my opinion, the really marvelous thing is to have no legs at all, but to be able to walk just the same.
You call that walking? You're a slitherer. That's all you are. You just slither about.
I glide.
You are a slimy beast.
I am not a slimy beast. I am a useful and much loved creature. Just ask any gardener you like. And as for you,
I am a pest.
He is so proud that there for the life of me I cannot understand why. You please excuse me. My ladybug.
Pleased to meet you.
I am the only pest in this room.
Lord.
Unless you count old green grasshopper over there, but he is far too old to be a pest anymore.
Young fellow, I am old green grasshopper, who is rather old, but not a pest. I am a musician. In fact, I
Well
serve...
said, old green grasshopper. In case you haven't guessed by now, my name is Spider.
James! Your name is James, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, James, have you ever, in your life, seen such a marvelous, colossal centipede as me?
Certainly haven't. How on earth did you get to be like that?
Very peculiar. Very, very peculiar indeed. There I was, messing about in the garden, under the old peach tree, when suddenly, a funny little green thing came wriggling past my nose.
Oh, but I know what that was.
It happened to me too. And me. Suddenly there were little green things everywhere. The soil was full of them.
I actually swallowed one.
So did
But
I.
I swallowed 3. But who's telling the story anyway? Don't interrupt!
Not now, centipede. Why don't you go upstairs and get started?
Oh.
What's going on?
We're about to depart from the top of the skyscraper that we've all been living on for so long. We're about to roll away. It's like this great, big, beautiful beach. And,
What?
never you mind. Nothing could be worse than this desolate hilltop and those two repulsive haunts of yours.
Here.
Now, you may not have noticed it, but this entire garden, even before it reaches the steep edge of the hill, is on a rather steep slope. And the only thing that is keeping us up is that thick stone attaching us to the tree. Break this down, and off we go.
I've done it! We're off! The journey begins!
And who knows where it shall end? If you have anything to do with it, that can only mean trouble.
Nonsense! We are now about to visit the most marvelous places and see the most wonderful things.
Well-
Isn't that so, Centipede?
Well, there is no knowing what we shall see. We may see a creature with 49 heads who lives in the desolate snow. And whenever he catches a cold, which he dreads, he has 49 noses to blow. You may see a dragon, and nobody knows. I'm going to see a unicorn there. And we may see a terrible monster. He'll do his growing out of the tuft of his hand. Oh, and we may see little bitty bright things, so playful, so kind and well bred. Oh, and such beautiful eggs. Just boil them, and they explode and blow off your head. But who cares? Let us go from this horrible hill. Let us roll, let us bowl, let us plunge. We'll go rolling and bowling and spinning until we're away from old Spiker and Sponge.
Away from old Spiker Spider, sponge, whatever.
Why did we have to get up so early, Spiker? Oh, it's still dark outside.
Well, if the early bird gets the worm, then 2 early ants will catch the suckers.
That's funny. I don't get it, Spiker. What do you mean?
Money, Sponge. We're out here to make money. Get it? M-O-N-E-Y. Money. Just look at all these idiots coming up the hill.
I wonder whatever happened to that horrid little boy of ours. He never came back in, did he?
I suppose he probably just fell down in the dock and broke his leg.
Or his neck, maybe?
Just wait until I get my hands on him. He'll never want to stay the out again by the time I finish with him. Goodness gracious me, what is that awful noise?
Spiker, I know this sounds silly, but it looks as if the fence is breaking and the peaches. The peaches!
Ill, Sponge. Are you?
Wait.
You must be. No, it can't be.
Move, Spiker, out of my way!
Jump off, Sponge, be fast!
No, Spiker!
I wonder what that noise was. Well, you'll never believe it, but the giant peach is still moving. It's rolling and bouncing down the steep slope at a terrific pace. It's going faster and faster and faster. And the crowds of people climbing up the hill have suddenly caught sight of it, plunging down upon them. Oh, they're screaming and scattering to the right and to the left. It just knocked over a telegraph pole and flattened 2 parked cars. It drifted madly across about 20 fields. Just look at all the sheep and horses
Nay.
and cows and pigs stampeding in all directions. Oh. Hey, you would scatter too if the giant peach were coming down on you, wouldn't you? Oh dear, it just went straight through that village. Oh no! I don't believe it, but it just went crashing through the giant walls of the Wonka Bucket Chocolate Factory. Yes. In fact, there's now a great river of warm melted chocolate flowing through every street in the village. Oh, will it ever stop?
Oh, it's over.
Then, why should it? A round object will always keep on rolling as long as it is on a downhill slope. Oh dear, but there's the sea! Surely the peach and all its occupants aren't going to end up there. But then, what's to stop it? I know James wanted to visit the seaside, but for some reason I don't think that's what he had in mind. Oh, it's heading for those towering white cliffs that are the most famous in the whole of England. They're hundreds and hundreds of feet high. Below, the sea is cold and deep and hungry. Many ships and men have been swallowed up and lost forever on that side of the coast. Oh, it's only 100 feet away from the cliff. Now 50, now 30, 20, 10, 5, it's gone over! Down! Wow, what a colossal surprise. It's safe like a stone. Oh dear, I think I see our travelers. They're floating there. Look over there!
Let's have some light. Yes, light. Give us some light, glowworm.
Glowworm? I've never met a glowworm in here before.
That's because she was up on a slimy ceiling. A lazy beast. Although, now that you mention his name, he doesn't look like much of a worm. Now does he?
I am not a worm. I'm not a he either. I'm simply a lady firefly without wings.
Big deal. Big deal. Come on, give us some more light.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best. Please be patient. There.
Oh, some great journey.
Get off me! I shall never be the same again!
It's taken years off my
But, my dear friends, we are there.
Where? Where is there?
I don't know. But I'll bet it's somewhere because I've lost my back.
We're probably at the bottom of a coal mine.
Perhaps we're in the middle of a beautiful country full of songs and music.
Or we're down on the seaside with lots of children down on the sand for me to play with.
Not me, but I'm wrong in thinking that we seem to be bobbing up and down. Bobbing up and down. What am I doing?
You're still delirious from nature. Is everybody ready to go upstairs and take a look around?
I refuse to send myself out of doors in my bare feet. I have to get my boots on again first.
Oh, for heaven's sake, let's not go through all that nonsense again.
Send me a hand and get it over with.
I'm not.
While you're doing that, I'll weave a ladder to
Oh, thank you.
This is
Oh,
ridiculous.
thank you. Oh, but this is impossible.
I told you we were bobbing up and down.
We're in the middle of the sea.
Wait,
Wait,
I don't see
where's
it.
my hat?
Wait, I can't see. Where is England?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am afraid we find ourselves in a rather awkward predicament.
Awkward? Awkward? Ha! We're finished. I may be blind, but even I can see that quite
Oh,
clearly.
with my boots. I cannot stir with my boots on.
I cannot swim at all. Nor I.
But you won't have to swim. We're floating beautifully. And sooner or later, a ship is bound to come along and pick us up.
Wishful thinking
Are
at
you
this.
sure?
I feel like I'm sinking.
Of course I'm sure. Go look for yourself.
We are floating most beautifully. Now, all we have to do is sit down and keep perfectly calm and everything will be
No,
Alright.
what absolute nonsense! Nothing is ever all right in the end. And well, you know it.
Poor Earthworm. He loves to make everything into a disaster. He hates to be happy.
No, I don't. Oh, if this peach is not going to sink, and if we are not going to be drowned, then each and every one of us is going to starve to death instead.
Oh, by golly, he's right. For once, he is right.
Of course, I'm always right. We shall get thinner and thinner and thirstier and thirstier. Oh, I'm dying already. I'm shriveling up for want of food. Personally, I'd rather drown.
But you must be blind.
Oh, how cruel! You know very well that I'm blind.
blind.
There's no need to rub it in.
I didn't mean that. Can't you see?
See, huh? See? How am I meant to see if I'm blind?
Can't you realize that we put out food here to last us for weeks and weeks?
Excuse me?
Where?
I'm much more gone than my back is.
He doesn't.
The peach, of course. Our whole ship is made out of food.
Why? He's right.
No, you must be crazy. You can't eat the peach. It's the only thing keeping us up.
Well, we shall starve if we don't.
And we shall drown if we do.
Oh dear, we're worse off than before.
Can't you see that it would take weeks and weeks to make any sort of dent to this enormous peach? Surely you can see that.
What's you looking so worried about, Earthworm? What's the problem?
Well,
What is it?
the problem is... The problem is...
Speak up, you cicada.
The problem is that there's no problem.
Oh!
Come on, just a word for a second.
Don't touch me.
Thought something was actually
Come and eat.
Fine.
Delicious.
just fabulous. Who mind? No, James, this peach is even better than this time green flies that live on rose bushes. Then flies were never as good as this.
Oh, it's fabulous. There's nothing like it. There never has been. And I would know because I personally have tasted all the finest foods in the world.
Have now.
I've eaten fresh mud burgers by the greatest cooks there are, and scrambled dregs and stink bugs' eggs and hornets stewed in tar, and pails of snails and lizards' tails, and beetles by the jar. Now see, a beetle is improved by just a splash of vinegar. I manage crispy wasp things on a piece of buttered toast, and pickled spines, porcupines, and little gorgeous roast of dragon's flesh. Well hung, not fresh. It costs £1 at most, and comes to you in barrels if you order it by post. Now James, for dinner on my birthday, shall I tell you what I chose? Hot noodles made from poodles on a slice of garden hose, and a rather smelly jelly made of armadillo's toes. Now see, the jelly is delicious, but you have to hold your nose. Now comes, I do declare, the burden of my speech. These foods are rare beyond compare. Some are right out of reach, but there's no doubt I'd go without 1,000,000 plates of each for one small bite, one tiny mite of this fantastic peach.
A bit pitchy, in my opinion.
Look at that funny thin black thing lying in the water over there.
There's 2 of them. There are lots of them.
Oh no, what are they?
Probably some kind of fish come along to say hello.
Oh no, they're sharks! I'll bet you anything you like that they're sharks, and they've come along to eat us up.
What absolute rot!
I am positive that they're sharks. I just know that they're sharks.
Just assuming that they are sharks, there still can't possibly be any danger if we stay up here. Is there?
Look, they're coming closer. Hey, you filthy beast! Look at the size of their jaws.
I don't want to see it.
Oh dear, they're attacking. We're finished now. They will eat up the whole peach so there's nothing left for us to stand on. Then they'll start on us.
She is right. We're lost forever.
Oh, I don't want to be eaten. But they'll take me first of all because I'm so fat and juicy, and I have no bones.
Come on, James. There must be something we can do.
There's something I believe we might be able to try. I'm not saying it'll work though.
Tell us quickly.
Try anything you say, but hurry!
Be quiet and let the boy speak. Go on, James.
Come on, please.
I'm afraid it's no good after all. We would need hundreds of yards of string to make this work, and we don't have any string.
But, my dear boy, string is one of the few things we do have.
How? Where?
The silkworm! Haven't you ever met the silkworm? She's still downstairs.
Yes, and she never moves. She just lies there sleeping all day long, but we can easily wake her and make us move.
What about me? I can spin just as close as any silkworm. What's more, I can spin patterns.
Please don't hurt me.
Spin enough between you?
As much as you want.
And quickly?
Of course, of course.
Or would it be strong?
The strongest there is.
But what? What are you going to use it for?
I'm gonna lift this peach right out of the water.
You're mad.
It's our only chance.
Come on, James. How are you going to do it?
Science, I suppose.
Seagulls, the place is full of them. Look up there. I shall loop one end of a string around a seagull's neck. Then I shall take the other and loop it around the stem of the peach. And then I shall simply go on hooking them up, another after another after another.
What absolute nonsense.
How do you suppose a few seagulls lift up an entire thing like this and us as well?
There is no shortage of seagulls. The sky is teeming with them. It's like balloons. If you give somebody enough balloons, I mean really enough, then it goes up. And seagulls have far more lifting power than balloons.
Oh my God, you're completely off your head. How do you propose we get a loop of string around a seagull's neck? I don't suppose you're gonna fly up there yourself and catch it. Indeed he is.
Be quiet and let him speak. Go on, James. How would you do it?
With bait.
Bait? What sort of bait?
An earthworm, of course. Didn't you know? Seagulls love earthworms. And luckily for us, we have one of the juiciest, fattest, biggest earthworms there are.
You can stop right there.
The seagulls have already spotted him. That's why there's so many circling up there. But they dare come down to get him while the rest of us are still standing here. So this is
No, I won't have it. I refuse.
My dear Well, you're going to be eaten anyway, so what difference does it make whether it's sharks or seagulls?
I won't do it!
Why don't we hear what the plan is?
I don't give a hoot what the plan is. I'm not going to let myself get pecked to death by a bunch of seagulls!
Oh, you will be a martyr. I shall respect you for the rest of my life.
Get off
But
me!
he won't have to give his life. Now listen to me. This is how I'll do it.
Someone get me out of here!
Why, it is absolutely brilliant.
Oh, I have been to death!
Of course you will.
I will! And I know I will. And I won't even be able to see them coming. Because I don't have eyes.
I won't let them touch you. I promise I won't. Well, he's got to hurry. Action station. All hands on deck. Except Earthworm.
Tally ho, you off-brand crows.
And two spiders. Get that silver to work in one. Color display I've never spotted before. And make sure to hurry. This is the 502nd seagull. I think this one will do it.
Oh, I don't like this at all. Happy days!
Quiet down, Earthworm. You should be thankful you're still alive.
Yes, capturing seagulls with bait. It is a splendid idea.
Not if you're the bait!
It's working. I can feel us lifting. Come on up, everybody.
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
Oh, what a marvelous feeling. And I'm not hurt.
You were very brave, Earthworm.
Goodbye, sharks.
Oh, boy. This is the way to travel. Why, you can almost see forever from up here.
Oh, look. There's a ship below us.
Looks rather large.
It's got 3 funnels.
You can even see the people on the decks.
Let's wave to them. Do you think they can see us?
I don't know. Let's try.
Self-centipede. Airworm, what's up? Oh. What an adventure! Do you believe that? Wow. Now neither James nor any of the others know it, but the ship that is actually sailing beneath them is the Queen Mary, sailing out of the English Channel on her way to America. And on the bridge of the Queen Mary is the captain and a group of his astonished officers, all gaping at the great round ball hovering overhead.
I don't like it.
Nor do I, sir.
Do you think it's following us? I don't like it.
Could be dangerous.
Oh, I know what it is. It's a secret weapon. Holy cats! Send the magic telequeen at once! The country must be warned! Hand me my telescope. Oh, there are birds everywhere. The sky's teeming with birds. What are they doing? And I think I see. I do have this darn thing focused properly. I see people. Yes, I distinctly see a little boy in trousers and a giant ladybug.
Now wait just a minute, Captain.
And a colossal grasshopper.
Captain, please.
And a mammoth spider.
She's been at the whiskey again.
And an enormous simply enormous centipede.
Call the ship's doctor. The captain is very sick.
But look, it's just disappeared into those thick clouds. Now we'll never see it again.
Never mind that. The captain has flipped her lid, popped her cork. I'm the captain now. Take her below deck. She is sick, sick, sick.
Come on, Captain, it'll be okay.
I wonder when we'll finish up this time.
Ah, who cares? Seagulls always go back to the land sooner or later.
I suppose.
Wow, did it seem as if the people on that boat really got excited when they saw us?
Spider! Spider! Spider!
Yeah, then I suppose we do seem rather peculiar.
Why, what do you mean, James?
Well, what I mean is
What he means is that we might seem mighty strange to a couple of humans. I mean, I hear they keep their ears on the sides of their heads.
Doesn't everybody?
Oh,
That's a good one, James. That's a good one. You're funny.
No.
Where, for an example, do you think I keep my ears?
I don't know.
Not here. I keep them right here, one on either side of my abdomen.
And I swallow soil.
yes, you do.
And without charging a penny, I gobble all the nasty little insects gobbling up on the farmer's crops. Like I'm the farmer's best friend.
Wow, how wonderful is this? Seems that almost everybody on the ship is left.
Not I! I'm a pest, and I'm proud of it. Oh, I'm a shocking, dreadful pest.
Here, here.
Yes.
What about you, Spider? Aren't you much left in the world as well?
Oh, no. I'm not left at all. And yet I do nothing but good. All day long I catch flies and mosquitoes in my webs. I am a decent person.
I know you are.
It is very unfair the way spiders are treated. Why, only last week your horrible Aunt Sponge flushed my poor dear father down the drain in the bath. I watched the whole thing from the corner up in the ceiling. It was ghastly.
But isn't it unlucky to kill a spider?
Of course it's lucky to kill a spider. Just look what happened to your Aunt Sponge after she'd done that. Oh, we all felt, didn't we? As the heat went over, huh?
It was very satisfactory.
It's getting colder.
Hey, Parker, maybe we should all go down below and keep warm until tomorrow morning.
No, I think that would be rather unwise. It would be far safer for us to stay up here. That way, if anything were to happen, we would be ready at a moment's notice.
I suppose.
I see that James Henry Trotter and his companions are huddled together to keep warm. Little do they know what still lies ahead. Oh dear, it scares even me. Well, anyway, get on with it. Listen how quiet it is. There is not a sound anywhere. Listen to the peaches as we side to side, quietly, softly. Not at all like the airplanes that roar through the sky, driving any secrets up in the mountains of the clouds back into their secrets. That is why people who ride on planes never see anything. But the peach, ah yes, the peach, it makes no noise as it floats along. Oh, I think our travelers are about to, any second.
James, look, what are those things?
Ooh, I don't like this at all.
Shh, be quiet. Don't let them hear you. They must be cloud people!
Oh dear, oh dear.
I'm glad I'm blind and can't see them, or else I'd probably scream.
I hope they don't turn around and see us.
But what are they doing?
It looks as if they're grabbing a handful of clouds and mushing them in their fingers into Marvelite themes. They have a whole pile of Marvelite themes.
There's nothing to be afraid of here. They must be absolutely mad.
For heaven's sake, Centipede, don't make so much noise.
They can't hear me. They're deaf as doorknobs. You watch.
I'd rather not.
Idiots! Nincompoop! Half-wits! Blunderheads! What are you doing down there, you dummies? Oh!
You lonesome pest, there you go! I can't see anything!
I'm a wreck! I'm wounded all over.
Serves you right.
Listen, I do believe they're not hitting us anymore.
The seagulls
Left them behind.
must have pulled us away from out of danger.
Hooray! It's all clear. I can't see them anywhere.
How fast are you going all of a sudden? I wonder why.
I don't think the seagulls liked the hailstone throwing experience we just had. I imagine they just had a bad fright.
Yes, faster and faster fly the seagulls, skimming across the sky at a tremendous pace, with the Peach trailing along behind it. Cloud after cloud rolls by on either side, each of them ghostly white in the moonlight. And several times throughout the night, the travelers catch glimpses of cloudmen working their sinister magic upon the world below. They see a snow machine in operation, with cloudmen turning the handle and a great blizzard of snow coming out of the great funnel above. They see drums being made for thunder. They see wind producers and frost factory, and in the heart of a large billowy cloud, something that can only be a cloud men's city. And just before dawn, they hear a slight whooshing noise above their heads. And they see an immense, gray, bat-like creature flying around the beach, and flaps its great wings in the moonlight, circling and circling the Peach, and then staring at the travelers. And then utters a series of long, high cries. And it flies off again. How terrifying. They all sit there, motionless. They sit in silence, waiting for the new day, and watching as the sun comes over the horizon.
Oh, look! There's land below!
Oh, thank
Hey,
heavens.
it looks like streets and houses.
But how enormous it all is.
Well, what tremendous tall buildings. I've never seen anything like them before in England.
Where?
You know what those buildings are? Those are the skyscrapers from America. And that, my friends, that means we crossed the Atlantic Ocean overnight.
It's amazing! It's unbelievable!
It's not possible.
No, you know, I've always dreamed of going to America. I had a friend.
Nobody cares about your friends, Centipede.
Be nice.
What we need to worry about now is how on earth we're going to get back down to Earth.
Ask James.
I don't think that should be very difficult. All we'll have to do is let loose a few seagulls one at a time, so the others can't quite keep up in the air. Then we shall go down gently and slowly until we land. Centipede, will you cut down a few seagulls for us, one at a time?
Oh, I forgot to polish my boots! Everyone help me polish my boots!
Oh,
before
for
you arrive.
heaven's sake, can you ever stop thinking about your...
It looks like an airplane just came shooting out of that cloud over there. Wait a minute, oh no! It cut through all of the silken trees as it went by!
We're falling!
Okay,
James, please, you've always had the answer before. Please do something quickly!
I wish I had the answer. I can't do anything now. I'm sorry. It won't be long now.
Goodbye, everybody! Goodbye, Ladybug! Goodbye, Earthworm! I'm sorry for being so mean to you.
Oh, now he says it.
No, even though you're blind as a bat!
Centipede, I also... Oh, never mind. Goodbye, Centipede. I'm sure you weren't all bad. You were pretty bad.
I don't believe it. But we're not dead.
I might as well be.
He's totally dead.
You're dead.
Oh, if we're not dead, then where are we?
I know it seems hard to believe, but I think we've landed on the needle of the Empire State Building.
Oh, you're kidding!
Wait, how will we get down?
Don't worry, they'll get us down.
James, what are all those people hanging out of windows cheering us?
And all of those people down on the street are waving madly.
Maybe they think we're heroes.
You know, I think you may be right. Maybe they do think we're heroes.
James was right. Everyone on the Peach was looked upon as a hero, especially James. They were all brought down in 5 minutes and escorted to the steps of City Hall, where the mayor of New York made a speech of welcome. And while he was doing that, steeplejacks, all armed with ropes and ladders and pulleys, swarmed up to the top of the Empire State Building and hoisted the giant peach off of the spike. And the mayor decided there just had to be a ticker tape parade for these wonderful visitors. A procession was formed, and the leading car, which was an enormous open limousine, sat James and all of his friends. And next came the giant peach itself. Men with cranes and hooks had hoisted it onto a very large truck, and there it sat, looking just as huge and proud and brave as ever. There was, of course, a bit of a hole in the side of the peach. Well, despite what the Empire State Building had done. Who cared about that? Or about all the peach juice dripping through the streets?
Not my boots!
Forgetting about all the place behind the peach was the mayor's limousine and about 20 other limousines behind it, carrying all the important people of the city. And oh, how the crowds went wild with excitement. Oh, they cheered. Woo! They yelled.
Yeah!
They screamed and clapped.
Woo!
They threw bits of white paper and ticker tape at James and his friends as they were all and then a very peculiar thing happened. A little girl ran up to James and shouted,
James, can I please have a bite of your giant peach?
"Of course!" James shouted back.
You can have as much as you want. It won't keep forever anyways.
Needless to say, that was the beginning of the end for our giant peach. Children came from everywhere. They swarmed the streets like ants and ate to their heart's content. More and more boys and girls came from every direction to join the feast. It really was a fantastic sight. To some, it was like the Pied Piper of Hamlet had descended upon New York. And to James, who had never thought there were so many children in the world, it was the most marvelous thing that ever happened. And by the time the procession was over, the entire giant peach had been completely eaten up, and the only thing left was the giant peach stone in the middle, licked clean and shiny by 10,000 eager little tongues, and there it now sat on the truck. And so, that was the end of our journey. But our travelers, they lived on. The centipede was a vice president in charge of sales at a high-class boot and shoe manufacturer.
Really new ones, though.
The earthworm, with his lovely pink skin, was hired by a woman's face cream company to do commercials on television.
Make sure to moisturize, James.
Did that say it's just soil?
And then the silkwoven spider, after they had learned to make nylon thread instead of silk, made rope factories for tightrope walkers.
Great job.
And the glowworm was made the light inside the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, wow.
And thus saved a grateful city from having to pay a huge electricity bill every year.
Keep on shining.
And the old green grasshopper was made a member of the New York Symphony Orchestra, where his playing was greatly admired. Wow!
Good luck on the other side, kid.
You can walk?
And the ladybug, living in fear her whole life that her house would burn down and all her children gone, married the head of the fire department and lived happily ever after.
Goodbye, have a great marriage.
And as for the giant peach stone, it was made in a center of honor in Central Park, and it was made a famous monument. But it was not only a famous monument, it was also a famous house. And in that famous house, there lived a famous person, James Henry Trotter himself. And on any day of the week, you could go upon the door and knock on it, and you could ask James to tell and full again of his stories on the amazing giant peach. And James thought it would be nice if one day he sat down and wrote a book for all to hear. And so he did. And that is what you all have just seen.